This video is brought to you by Original Magic Art. Pick up your favorite prints, tokens, and playmats so that you can look your best on game night. And now, save 10% off at checkout when you use code VAGABONDGallery.
I grew up kind of believing that, no one really understands what you're going through at the moment, like only you can. But I don't believe that necessarily to be true. I feel like a lot of us share a lot more similarities with each other than we might think. And if we feel like we're the only person feeling a certain way about something, we're probably not. And that connection is healing when you find other people that feel the same way.
Okay. Feel free to introduce yourself in whatever way you feel fit.
I'm Miranda, and I have been doing Magic the Gathering artwork for let's see, 4 years or so. Noticing, seeing that other artists are also in Magic and they're coming out with these pieces, and I don't know, I started to think of like, maybe that is something I could do. I'm not sure. I just assumed that my work didn't fit that for whatever reason. I don't know. I remember it was at a certain event that we were at, and it was actually Howard Lyon. We were acquainted before. I think it was just our familiarity with the university. There was just events that were happening, so it's kind of like, oh, you're Howard Lyon. Okay, I keep hearing about you. At that event, we'd already met a couple of times. I was talking with him and he really encouraged me to like, no, you should contact them and your work would fit. It would be good. So you should try it. At the time, it was Cynthia Shepherd. He's like, yeah, I think she's working on something right now. So you should just email her and see. I guess she had like seen my work before. She's amazing. She's one of my top artists. Should put that in there, that Cynthia Shepherd is one of my top like influential artists. Carla Ortiz. Oh my gosh. Anyway. But yeah, you get it.
You're preaching to the choir.
I just have to.
Yeah. You're
like,
that's going in.
Okay, good. Yeah, just absolutely incredible. So just the fact that she was even aware of my work was just like, okay, that's a cool feeling. And luckily at the time they had something. She's like, oh, I think actually we have this one image you could do that might work. And it was a merfolk one. I was like, cool, I could do this. So I got lucky, I guess, and they had a project for me, and I mean, yeah, I feel really grateful because it's like, I know that's not the experience that everyone has. But it was the same with book covers, where I didn't really even know that was an option to consider. So it was Howard that kind of like really encouraged me to try it. And I mean, he's just the most generous human on the earth. Very, very helpful, very encouraging, just a great human. So I think a lot of it has to do with not, giving yourself a little bit of grace and like encouragement of you actually can do this, and you just need to try and,
So, some of your recurring motifs, moths, you bring up snakes a lot. Can you expound on some of those? The significance, why
yeah.
you employ them? Like, what's going on with all that?
So I got this book from my third grade teacher, and it is called The Mysteries of Harris Burdick. I fell in love with that book. I loved the detail. I loved the black and white drawings. Every picture was accompanied by a sentence or two that kind of gave some context to what might be happening. And it just makes your brain go crazy trying to think of, well, how is this happening? And where is this going? And what does this mean? And I loved that effect it had on me. And it allowed me to sit with my feelings of fear in a way that I hadn't experienced before. I look at that as like hugely influential into how I create work now, where I want people to wonder and question, and maybe guess the narrative of what might be happening. Even as like a really young kid, I loved snakes and lizards and just, reptiles. Just these like darker themes in general. And I remember I would like draw monsters and like creatures and kind of all these things where, yeah, I don't know exactly where that started, but when I was young, that's just always what I gravitated towards, right? It's just one of those things that I felt like I could draw over and over and over again, never ever get tired of it. I loved making it at the time and just having fun with it and adding all the details everywhere. That was another one that I was like, wow, that really is hot pink. I did not even see that. I never branch into like deeply unsettling. I'm not comfortable with that personally, and there's other people that can handle that much better. Just kind of like flirting with that side. I'm better at that, so. Sometimes you get an assignment and it just like, you can feel the excitement, like the electricity of like, yeah, like I'm so excited that they gave this to me and I can't wait to do this. That one, honestly, a lot of the problem solving just kind of fell into place as I was creating it. It was also one of the first oil paintings I had done, like finished. So that was a fun experience. Same with like Blood Token. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can create this final product that, in physical form. That one, in particular, I got the assignment. I really wasn't sure how exactly to do it. I had this image in my head, but it was kind of a default, like, oh, okay, I think it's probably going to be this perspective so I can show this happening at the same time, right? While I was sketching it, I had this idea to portray it a little bit differently with the lighting, and I kind of explained that to the art director of like, okay, I could do this. I kind of want to try this if that's something that would work within the, the world. And luckily he was like, yeah, go for it. That sounds great. I'm like, yeah, yes. So it was a fun one just to kind of like explore with different textures. And that one did feel like playtime for sure. As an artist, I really am not super familiar with like the ins and outs of like the different events and different sets. And a lot of it is me like embarrassingly asking people like, what does this mean? I don't know what this means. What did they mean when they say promo? I don't know what that means. So I've learned not to know what to expect when I create a card, whatever it's for. And even with something like Transcendent Message, where it's for a store promo, that you can still make it, still put your heart into it, and it's still a really fun experience, and it doesn't take away from the process of creating it in general.
When you look at a card that has your artwork on it, you're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that's Miranda Meeks. You can just tell.
That boggles my mind. I don't get that. I can do that for other artists. And I appreciate you saying that, because I can do that for other artists. I totally know what you're talking about. But then for me, it's like, I feel like my work just like blends in and like you couldn't tell. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. It's like, okay, something's saying it. So I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember Werewolf Pack Leader, as a piece of art, it is not a green card. It really pushes that boundary. I mean, it's almost monochromatic.
Yeah,
just
it
purples.
is, isn't it?
But that looks so good in the green frame, you never question it. One of the things I like so much about your work is the fact that, I mean, the way that you illustrate a scene is so unique and impactful that it doesn't really matter. And I think that's what really makes your work stand out, is that it's not really a priority. It's not on your mind.
Well, I really do appreciate you saying that. It's, I know, it's just easy as an artist to forget your contribution and just kind of like cross your fingers and hope it's not a bad contribution, when you forget that, like, maybe it could even be a good contribution. And and yeah, just knowing that I'm able to express my art in a way that makes it have a distinct voice that other people can recognize and appreciate is like, really valuable and really encouraging. So I do really appreciate when you said that.
That kind of leads us, I guess, to the big question, which is, how do you make what seems like such a selfish decision when it feels like the world's falling apart?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, why do you make art?
Yeah. The reason I create art is it's to share connections with people and to share my emotions in a safe way that isn't, I struggle talking about emotions sometimes and like expressing that. So if I can do it in artwork and connect with people that way, you can share that connection with people that have had similar experiences as you. I mean, that's really like the core of it, right? Because there's other artists that could do amazing, if not much better work than I can, and portray the same ideas and the same visions, right? So what am I contributing? Why do I feel this compulsion to create and to share that with people? I grew up kind of believing that, no one really understands what you're going through at the moment, like only you can. But I don't believe that necessarily to be true. I feel like a lot of us share a lot more similarities with each other than we might think. And if we feel like we're the only person feeling a certain way about something, we're probably not. And that connection is healing when you find other people that feel the same way. I think that there is beauty during times in our life when it can feel really dark. I really try to merge those things together. And that's where I'm at my happiest.
I want to know, what is your dream commission from Wizards of the Coast?
Obviously, like if there's a planeswalker, it's like Liliana is just kind of like, she's got my heart a little bit. That'd be awesome. Ashiok. Honestly, I think it'd be kind of fun to do kind of like black cards, like horror cards. Maybe if it was like a nightmare aspect. That's what I'm thinking of at the moment. So, yeah, I just love doing those. Those are kind of like chef's kiss, peak dreams, putting that out there. Yeah.